You know that moment when your phone buzzes and it's your bank app, and you already know what it's going to say before you even open it? It's like you're walking into a horror movie you've already seen. You check your balance, and it's $17.42. And then, same day, your life decides to test you. Your car makes that new noise. Your kid's school sends an email about an unexpected fee. Or your job hits you with the, "Hey, can we talk?" message that instantly makes your stomach drop. And you're sitting there thinking, I am one random Tuesday away from disaster. Look, if that is you, if you're constantly praying nothing breaks because you don't have the money for it, this video is for you. Because we're going to build an emergency fund in 60 days. And yes, even if you feel broke right now, even if you're thinking, Jack, I'm barely surviving, what fund? Here's the thing. Most people think building an emergency fund is something you do after you get your life together. I'm going to argue the opposite. You build an emergency fund so you can get your life together. My name is Jack, and I spend way too much time thinking about saving for an emergency fund. If you're someone who struggles to save some emergency fund, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. All right, now, before we jump into the plan, I want to hit you with something that might be uncomfortable, but it's important. A lot of people say, I can't save until I make more money. And sometimes that's true, like, if you're choosing between rent and groceries, there's no magical budgeting trick that changes math. But here's what most people don't realize. Even when you can save something, your brain fights it. Not because you're lazy, not because you're dumb, because your brain is wired for survival today, not stability later. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck, your brain goes into scarcity mode, and scarcity mode makes you do three things. You focus on immediate problems. You ignore future risks. You grab little comfort purchases because you're stressed. Which is why telling someone, just save 20%, is like telling someone who's drowning, hey, try swimming better. So today we're doing something different. We're building a 60-day emergency fund using two things. Very simple math and psychology. Let me give you a few quick data points to show you you're not alone and why this is urgent. Bankrate found that about 1 out of 4 Americans, or 24%, have zero emergency savings. The Federal Reserve survey data shows that in 2024, only 55% of adults said they had set aside 3 months of expenses in an emergency or rainy day fund. And the American Psychological Association reports that money is one of the top personal sources of stress, cited by 64% of adults in their 2024 survey. So if you feel anxious about money, congratulations, you are extremely normal. Now here's the part that always surprises people. You do not need a perfect, huge emergency fund to get massive relief. A $10,000 emergency fund is great, but a $300 up to $1,000 buffer can be life-changing because it prevents what I call the financial domino effect. One unexpected bill turns into overdraft fees, late fees, credit card interest, borrowing from friends, stress spirals, and decisions made out of panic. An emergency fund is basically a shock absorber for your life. So what's the goal? In 60 days, we're aiming for $600. Why $600? Because it's big enough to handle most random Tuesday problems. A tire, a small medical bill, a utility bill that's higher than expected but small enough that it's achievable even if you're starting from almost nothing. And if you can do more than $1,000, amazing. But we will start small. $600 in 60 days equals $10 per day. That's it. Now, you might be thinking, Jack, I don't have $10 a day. I barely have money left after bills. Totally fair. So here's the strategy. We are not going to save $10 per day by suffering. We're going to build a system that finds $10 per day through a mix of reducing leaks, creating a little extra income, adding friction between you and impulse spending, automating the wins so you don't rely on motivation. This is where it gets really interesting. The emergency fund isn't just money. It's a behavior machine. Here's the framework we'll use. Separate, stabilize, squeeze, supplement, and we're going to run that like a 60-day sprint. Let's go step by step. Day 1 is not save money. Day 1 is stop saving in the same place you spend. If your emergency fund is sitting in your checking account, it's not an emergency fund. It's a snack fund. Look, your brain treats money that's visible and easy as available. So we need separation and friction. Do this today. Open a separate savings account or a second wallet if that's what you have. Rename it Do Not Touch Emergency Fund. If your bank lets you hide accounts from the main screen, hide it. This sounds silly, but it works because you're designing your environment. Here's what most people don't realize. Willpower is not a strategy. Environment is a strategy. Now, automate something that feels almost too small. If you can do $5 per day, do $5 per day. If you can do $3 per day, do $3 per day. If you can do $25 per week, do $25 per week. The goal is not the amount. The goal is the habit that runs without you. Because if you rely on, I'll save whatever is left at the end of the month, you will save nothing every time. Set up an auto transfer timed right after payday. Not when you remember. Not if you feel like it. Just right after payday. Okay, now we hunt for the first $100. Because your brain needs proof, it needs to see movement. Here are the fastest, most realistic ways to get $100 in week 1. A. Cancel one thing you forgot you're paying for. Go to your bank statements and look for subscriptions, app fees, memberships, random trial charges. Cancel just one. Even $10 per month matters because it's not just $10. It's $10 plus the habit of not paying for stuff you don't use. B. The 48-hour pause rule. For the next 60 days, any non-essential purchase gets a 48-hour wait. Not forever, just 48 hours. That pause breaks the impulse loop. Because the real enemy of saving is not Starbucks, it's impulse. C. Sell one thing this weekend. Now you might be thinking, selling stuff doesn't count. Yes, it does. We are not building your ego. We're building your emergency fund. Sell the following: old headphones, shoes you don't wear, a keyboard, anything that is collecting dust. One weekend, one sale. It could be $40, $70, or $120. It all goes into the fund. Week 2 is where we get serious. Most people don't have a budget problem. They have a leak problem. Leaks are small, frequent, and emotionally justified. I deserve this. I'm stressed. It's only $12. So, we're going to do a quick audit using the simplest method. The 3 category check. Look at the last 14 days of spending and label each expense. Must, which includes rent, utilities, basic groceries, transport. Maybe, things you like but could reduce temporarily. Mess, impulse, convenience. What was I thinking? Your emergency fund will come from maybe and mess, not from starving. Now here's an example with real math. Let's say you find $24 per week on takeout, $12 per week on small convenience store stuff, $15 per week on random online purchases. That's $51 per week. Over 8 weeks, that's $408. That alone is most of the $600 goal. And we haven't even touched income yet. Groceries are where people get wrecked, not because they're irresponsible, but because food decisions happen when you're tired. So in weeks 3 and 4, you do 2 things. A. Pick 6 cheap staple meals and repeat them. Not forever, for 60 days. You need default meals so you don't decide from scratch every day. Examples: rice plus eggs plus frozen vegetables, pasta plus sauce plus tuna or chicken, beans or lentils plus bread or tortilla. Oats plus banana plus peanut butter. The point: predictable meals reduce decision fatigue. B. One treat rule. You're allowed one planned treat per week. Planned. Because if you remove all joy, you will rebound and spend more later. This is Psychology 101. Restriction breeds rebellion. All right, this is where we speed up. Because cutting can only go so far. So we add income, not by starting a business empire, but with quick, realistic moves. Option 1. Ask for more hours, extra shifts, overtime. If that's available, it's often the highest ROI action. Even 4 extra hours per week at $15 per hour is $60 per week. In 4 weeks, that's $240. Option 2. One weekend, money mission. Pick one. Delivery driving, freelancing, helping someone move, house cleaning, tutoring, anything that pays quickly. Goal: $150 in 1 weekend. Now you might be thinking, that sounds exhausting. Yeah, it is. But it's 60 days. And the payoff is you stop living in financial fear. Option 3. Negotiate one bill. Call your internet provider, phone provider, insurance, ask, do you have a cheaper plan? Can you remove fees? Are there promotions I qualify for? Even saving $20 per month is $40 over 60 days, and it continues after. Here's what most people don't realize. The hardest part isn't saving the money once. It's not spending it later when your emotions spike. So we add rules. The emergency definition rule. Emergency equals something that threatens. It includes health, housing, transportation to income, basic utilities. Emergency is not a sale, a vacation, boredom, a bad day. Write that down. Seriously. Put it in your notes app. The replace first rule, if you use it, refill it. If you spend $120 from the fund on a real emergency, the next goal becomes replenish that $120 first. This keeps the fund alive instead of slowly dying. Let me tell you about someone I'll call Maya. Maya wasn't careless. She was just stuck. Every month was tight. Every surprise bill went on a credit card. And then the card payment made next month tighter. Classic loop. So she tried a real budget and failed because it was complicated and honestly depressing. Then she did something simple. Separate account. Auto transfer of $5 per day. Sold a few things. Cut 2 subscriptions. Did 1 weekend gig. By day 30, she had around $320. And then her car needed a repair. Old Maya would have used a credit card at 24% interest and spent the next 6 months miserable. New Maya paid cash. And she told me something that stuck. It wasn't the $320. It was knowing I could handle life. That's the point. This is not about being rich. It's about being unpanicable. Look, I'm going to be slightly frustrated for a second because I need you to hear this. Most people don't fail financially because they're irresponsible. They fail because they wait until they feel ready. And meanwhile, life keeps happening. Your emergency fund is not a luxury. It's not something you earn the right to have. It's basic protection. It's like wearing a seatbelt. You don't wait to crash to decide you should have worn one. So here's your move. Today, open the separate account. Set the smallest auto transfer you can handle. Pick one fast win for the first $100, and then come back here and comment, Day 1 done, and my number is X amount. Because when you say it out loud, it becomes real. And if you want more videos like this, practical, no fluff, actually doable money strategies, make sure you subscribe. Because 60 days from now, you can still be stressed, hoping nothing breaks. Or you can be the person who can handle a random Tuesday. And that person is closer than you think.